Welcome to the Ride Show. I'm your host, Robert Andersson, and in this show we will cover a lot of business-related topics, such as how to grow your business or mental health with co-workers, a lot of different topics. I am running a company called Acroud. Acroud is an iGaming marketing company, so obviously we will touch on subjects related to iGaming as well as general business topics. But we aim to make this show a little bit different from most of the other shows out there covering businesses. This will also be very personal and hopefully quite entertaining, as well as we aim to look at a lot of industry people and their lives behind the scenes a little bit as well, and hopefully this can bring a deep understanding about how to evolve your business, but also a lot of laughter and fun. And to start with, my name is Robert Andersson. I've been the CEO of this company now for 2 years, but before that I ran 3-4 different companies within the industry, but also in esports and also within media. And I have done a fair few big transactions, sold companies, bought companies, etc. So hopefully I can bring some perspective to that as well. And with me today I have Franke von Zweigbergk, also known as Franke, and also a very long time friend of mine. I ran into you or met you the first time in '96. So it's a long time ago. But maybe you can introduce yourself shortly?
Yeah, I can do that. So Franke von Zweigbergk, native Swede, at the moment living in Estonia, and before that I lived in Finland for a while. So 21 years ago I left Sweden. Schooling, have some sort of master degree I've never used in computer science. I am illiterate with computers, but I'm good with networking, and I think that's why I'm here. And I've known all the dark secrets of Robert Andersson. And as you hear, my Swinglish is perfect.
Yeah, so we aim to cover the importance of having a strong personal network and how that will help you along in business. Yeah. And I have you here simply because I find you to be one of the most genius persons I know when it comes to building. I know it's a big compliment, and maybe I'm reaching, but I try to be nice to my guests. And so I think if we go back to, I believe it was the autumn of '96, this is when I realized that you're at some stage going to be a genius, at least doing business. Was that at university when we decided to, 4 or 5 guys, we decided to have a table ice hockey tournament. Yeah. And you just escalated that really quickly. It turned into an ice hockey tournament, and you went around town and sold sponsorships on the side of the ice hockey. And I remember we had to print and glue this up so that it was... but the prize table was there was 2 prizes for every individual that joined, free haircuts for a year and God knows that. And if you manage to sell that, you're going to tape a sticker on the side of an ice hockey table to a big company, and they pay shitloads of money for it, and it's going to be 10 guys drinking beer, and I think that was quite a genius sell.
Yeah, it was actually.
So then I realized that you really have a strength in this, and it's proven to me over a very long time that you possess these discussions or these connections, and I've used you in my professional life to get in touch with people a lot, and I mean this obviously ended up with you now working for me. Yeah. And I highly appreciate it to have you on board. But I think that is really where we want to go. So if you can share your view on how do you build your networks and how are you thinking? I mean, or are you even thinking? It's maybe the first question.
I like that. So I think that I am thinking. So I am a human being. I have a reason to exist. No, I think it's quite simple. From my personal perspective, think a bit of pay it forward. You do good and then people do good to you. I don't believe in God, but there's a lot of citations from whatever religion you have that are decent, you know. Do to others what you want them to do to you. And I think I've applied that throughout, meaning that already in the times of the university, you know, before I went to these companies, most probably I have given them something else before. Or if you remember, we got quite a few people from the Baltic Sea area, so the Baltic countries and Russia and Ukraine, Baltic Sea Management Academy students, and they were a bit different in how they were dressed and how they acted, and very few fellow students of ours wanted to even reach out and get to know them. But I spent quite a decent amount of time with them because they are nice and I want to be nice to them. And today I live in Estonia and I do quite a fair bit of business with friends I met randomly in '96 by being nice. So pay it forward thinking somehow. And that goes the opposite. Like sometimes I reach out to someone and say bluntly in a cold call, like, you don't know who I am, I need this from you, and one day I hope I can repay it in a good favor. So yeah, there is a quite simple approach to life or networking, and be honest.
Yeah, so I mean, we ended up in Finland in the same time, if you kind of go past university a little bit. So how did you get your job in Finland?
Okay.
At Nokia?
Well, you and me studied at that time quite good program. It was IT management, so it was a mixed combination of business administration and then IT from a system science perspective. So we got a very good overview of what the future might bring from the new IT economy, the global economy. And we were early aboard. So quite a lot of companies at that time, big dragons, they came to our little university and poached, like they really recruited a lot of people. Me, myself, I spent, I think, of the 4 years studying, I was abroad 2.5, traveling and seeing the world. But you were able, because we were an IT university, every lesson were recorded.
On VHS,
on VHS, yeah, on VHS.
That you could go to the library and borrow.
Exactly.
So it wasn't like it was available on an online stream by then. You could borrow a VHS.
Correct. So then you had, like, I don't know, let's say a course, 5 points were 10 seminars, times 3 hours with 30 hours of videoing. Who has time for that, or sit at the seminar? So kind of, I applied for the job at the student bar, and then I were able to hand out free beer to the smart cat in the class. And then the smart cat in the class took notes. And then I went travel, I came back just before the re-exams, because at the end of every semester you could do all the exams in one go somehow. So then I went to the smart cat and said, basically, owe me a few beers, but just let me know, cut the crap, which of the seminars were relevant and roughly at what time. So I could go to the library, get this VHS, and then I said, okay, seminar 3, 9 and 10 I want to borrow. And then I fast forward to minute 55, and then I listened to the teacher, and then somehow I...
Plus copy people's notes.
A lot of copying notes. So, you know, cut the crap, find the shortcut, but in a proper trade. I give you something, I give you access to the bar, and then you give me something, access to your brain.
Yeah, I mean... I applied a lot of the same theories. Although you traveled and partied a bit, I did a little bit the same, but I also ran a few businesses on the side, and I spent a lot of time doing other stuff. I worked as a chef, I worked as a DJ, I wrote code, I did fucking everything I could get my hands on. But I applied the same mentality to studying, which was basically find ways of getting it done, rather than spending all the time just like hammering away at books. So I agree with that a lot.
And that's a trait I think we both have, like find the essential, cut the crap. So yeah, you can spend 5 days or 5 years on something to master that, but actually it's just 3 transactional points when you really need that knowledge or that know-how. And usually you don't have it, but if you know a person who really has it, you just call him or her in. You are good at that, I'm good at that. And I think that's networking in its essential, to remember these nodes.
I think it's really vital to business, to be fair. I mean, I've done a lot of things in my career, and a lot of things are based on who do you know that is the subject matter expert on this area? So it's at this level, it's more about being able to really connect the dots to create something that makes something happen rather than executing yourself. Whether that is then through recruitment of experts or knowledge of experts in your network, that might be different. But for me, I prefer to work with people that I know. Like, I've known you for a long time. I like working with you because, I mean, there are some things you're really good at and there are some things you're really shit at. But I also know all the stuff that you're shit at.
A lot of things.
which is really helpful for me because I know what to expect and I know what not to expect.
Yeah, that's true.
So I rather prefer that because then I can work around that and just cherry pick instead of giving someone a task that's not suited for that individual.
Yeah.
So I use you for what you're really good at, and that is for me networking and just, you know, the amount of connections you bring to the table. And I like your way of doing things. If we need to enter a new market or whatever, it's just to send you away for a week and you've made friends somehow. I don't know how you do it, but you've made those friends.
Can I say shisk?
Yes, you can say shisk.
Yeah, shisk is important.
Well, and if you go to another country, in for example Holland, if you can't do shisk, what do you do when you're in Holland?
Grolsch.
Grolsch. Okay. And when you're in Finland?
Karo.
Karo. Of course. And for you that don't know what this is, we're talking about different kinds of beers.
This is coffee.
It is very important for Franke in his network building is beer. And you know, we throw a couple of staff parties here and there at this company, but I have to say that our beer expense have gone up significantly since you started working here, and this is not because of certain events, it's because of your
general consumption.
Your general consumption.
I can give you 2 beer stories that are relevant in this discussion, I think, from networking or from truth, because there is a saying, at least in Sweden, that you hear the truth from young children and alcoholics.
Yeah. So which one are you?
I'm the young children, of course. Look at me, 32. One is, if I remember right, during when you were hired at Nokia back in the days, which actually I think I helped you somehow to get that job back in the days. The hiring manager, I think he took you out for beers on the job interview, correct?
Yeah.
So I think that's one way to just relax. You open up, you can sit and chill, and you landed the job over the beer. Another good story is like when I came here to Acroud, started work here, and I think the first thing I went to was the fridge and say there's no shisk. And then I went up to Karen, the HR manager, says, what is this? You have no shisk? And she said, oh, what do you mean? No, we need shisk in the office. And then she went to you, hey, Robert, Franke wants shisk in the office. Yeah, get them.
Yeah, but it is also really like you shouldn't, you know, it's a topic that might be a bit frowned upon to talk about how much it actually involves going to dinners, to go out and drink with people. I mean, networking usually happens outside the office. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see it as 90% of it.
I agree.
And when you meet in the office, you discuss business, but to get to the point where you're actually discussing business, that usually happens outside the office.
Correct.
And there is a lot of alcohol involved in that.
True.
Often. I ended up in a position like a few years ago where I thought that this was just, that lifestyle was too much for me. Like I started sleeping bad. I was just not in a very happy place maybe 3 years ago or somewhere there. And I know one thing that I told you when you came in is I realized I didn't want to live that lifestyle anymore, and I need someone else to do the groundwork. So I told you that when you come in, your 70% of your job description is to be my liver.
I love that taste. Yeah, I love it.
But it's true.
Yeah, it's true. But then also there are other ways to get this open discussion. So I love the game of poker. And the game of poker is an arena where you, at the live event, at the live casino, you meet people of all walks of life. So you don't know if the guy or girl on your right is a carpenter, CEO of Nokia, or a coder. Everyone plays poker, and you sit around a common table and you look at cards, but of course you need to talk. So kind of finding these arenas where you meet people casually. It's rule number one for networking. So yes, the bar could be one, but also other activities.
You know where I meet a lot of people to discuss with is when I go to football matches.
Yeah,
it's like Norra Stå and
you are
Rosengård and.
Robert, you are lying so much. You are the
when
worst.
When I was at Camp Nou and watched, for example, that was really important networking event. Was invited even by, I think it was Bethard.
How can you even mention this?
And I went to Camp Nou to see El Clásico. Super important event.
Yeah. So I remember that one because I called you, or you said at that point of time I'm in Barcelona, but I left at half time.
Yes, I left after 42 minutes. I found it quite uninteresting to watch football.
So this is like very sad for you because football unites. So wherever you go in the world, you can always bring up the topic of football.
Yeah, I'm handicapped.
And you are handicapped, which is true. But then again, like, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference at all. You're running a company where sports betting is a big asset. You are worse than me in poker. Poker is a big asset.
But you are good. I beat you once in poker.
Yeah, once in your life.
Yeah, but I've only played 3 times. So,
but bottom line is that you have other assets. I have other assets, and there are a lot of arenas to network and meet people at. If you go back to the story of selling the ad space in this Stiga hockey game, of course it came down to when you sold those ad spaces that the shopkeeper or the producer of certain goods, I had something that they were interested in, and that was usually someone in my network that I could refer to. This is a client of yours, or actually we're doing a photo session with this woman who could wear your clothes, or whatever I came up with. So the networking part in sales, in organization, in business, it's everything. It's everything. And when you talk networking as an individual, I think it's important to understand what are nodes and what are hubs. So there are certain entities, companies or persons that are more like a hub function. They have more connections. So if you want to, let's say I had a gig for a friend to establish a fertilizer company in South America. So I lived in Uruguay for 7 months. I don't speak any Spanish. And I did it successfully. It was good. And we opened up also a company in Brazil during my tenure, during this 7 months. And basically when you enter a networking thinking, pay it forward is always there. Do fair, try to be honest. But you need to identify of the people you meet who are nodes and who are hubs. So the more hubs you can connect to and have a personal relationship with, the more nodes you can reach, because through those hubs you exponentially reach a lot more people, and you are one of those hubs, and I am one of those hubs.
Yes, and that's why I felt that's really why I wanted you involved in this, is because you are a hub, and then you also have one of your dirtiest secrets, I believe, that you try your absolute best to hide, is that you're actually really organized.
Don't tell that live.
You do your absolute best to hide it, but I do know the most intense Excel sheets I can see on your computer, and you do the best. Like it's like you almost have been watching something that on the computer you shouldn't have it. You're the only person I know that believes Excel is one of those things you cannot have open at work because someone might wonder what the fuck you're up to. Other people might go to other sites and feel they are not safe for work, but for you it's more like Excel because that doesn't fit your image really.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So somehow you touch a few points there. One was a secret, but not anymore. Then yes, Excel runs the world. That's a fact. Like it's the most powerful tool out there. It's very simple. Can be whatever function you want it to be. And then of course another is image or perception of people. So kind of, I don't know how many decent sized business meeting I walked into dressed like this and flip-flops, and all the other 5 in the meeting are sitting in a suit. And of course they think like, what F is happening? Who is this guy walking in? Like, did he open the wrong door? And then when you start to talk and you actually have something to bring to the table, they all of a sudden realize who you are. You're there for the capacity, not for the fake Ralph Lauren shirt you have, etc. And people remember that. And kind of, if you want to be the icebreaker, if you want to build network, you need to be remembered for something. I prefer to be remembered for then my lack of brain or brain. I would hope people believe that I have a brain, than that I look good.
Yeah, but I think you have spent more conscious effort than I think a lot of people understand, and I know this about you, is you spend a lot of when people think that you are the crazy guy at the party, giving speeches, doing stunts, being a bit of the joker in the room. It is a lot of brand building so people realize and remember who Franke is. I've seen you do this so deliberate and people don't understand it, and I think it's really beautiful. Like at the Christmas party that we did at the Danes, when you gave rants and speeches, I just know you did it because there was 50 people in the room that didn't know who you were, but they all left that party knowing exactly who you were and what you could bring to the table. And I know a lot of discussions came out of that afterwards. So, you know,
yeah, it's true. So like, leave an impression is very important. To swim against the stream is important, or accidentally fart in the room could even work. Something that brings attention, as long as you can turn it around.
So as I remember, the big thing at that Christmas party was that you tipped the hostesses so well, but only if they proved that they could carry you around the room. So there was 4 women dressed as Santas carrying you around the room, like really struggling. And obviously everyone remembered you after that.
Yeah, I think people were envious.
Yeah.
But in a fun way. It was really nice.
Absolutely in a fun way. There was
not...
nothing bad about it.
No,
it was just hilarious. But I think I'm the only one in the room understanding what you're doing in that very moment.
Maybe someone else, but as long as I give a lot of myself.
You do a lot.
I help a lot of people. I make a fool of myself. But yes, there is maybe an end game thinking. As I just said, I don't want to go out with it, but now go out with it. People to remember. And what happens then, I think, when you come back to networking, is people call me and say, Franke, you have lived in South America, or you have been there. Do you know someone who can help with this? I do. And then I will figure out through my network, okay, who knows a good solar power company in LA area? And then I will find it, and then I will just deliver, you should talk with Peter from Solar Lux. And then this person who got the contact to Peter, and they maybe do business or maybe not, still kind of owes me a favor, pay it forward one day later. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you never get it back, and a lot of times you do. So
shall we maybe touch a little bit on what's ongoing at the moment, because that is then also related to a lot of what we have been talking about now with connections, but the festival.
Yep.
And that's kind of why you are here, and you can even also explain how it ended up with you even being here, because you actually came to me.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I did. So I mean, my background, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I think I have 10 companies running. They are in different business areas, and I have worked with and around events since I was 16 years old and through my first parties. So I'm a party organizer.
Yeah, you even organized a company event for me in Tallinn, remember?
I did. Fantastic. With the instruction, if I remember anything, it's a bad event. And it was successful.
I flew a company to you.
I remember that. That was a good one. And then around 2003, 2004, I started to play poker and also organize poker activities for different operators in Finland. I lived in Finland then. And somehow this poker really stuck on me, and again, the networking part. So you sit at the table, another 9, 8 persons, and you talk all the time. Like, you meet so many people at the table. So I realized, okay, I will start to organize poker events more professionally and maybe make some income from it. So I founded a poker tournament called Poker van Kampen, which is Sweden against Finland in poker, like a national battle. And due to legal reasons, you couldn't really host it at the state casino at that point of time, and still is, in Finland or in Sweden. So I just traveled across the pond to the city of Tallinn and walked into the casino and made a deal with them that I will bring some Swedes and Finns, and they were of course very happy. Here comes a crazy guy and gives us business, but of course with an agreement that I have a marketing cut of the deal, yeah. And since then, 2005, I have organized, let's say 60, 70 poker tournaments. At some point of time,
I won one of them over.
Yeah, you have won one of them. Yeah, I hear you want to bring that up, that you won against me in the final table. Yes, you did. I'm still angry with you
because I had great cards.
You had great cards, my ass. 7 2s and whatever you had. So kind of little me, and I'm no one, but events I have done only in Tallinn, Estonia. I think I have booked 35,000 hotel nights. So yes, I'm good for the state in tax money. I'm good for the casino, I'm good for my friends, and I have had great fun doing this. And then, of course, tournament poker, kind of, it's from the casino perspective. If you're operator or if you're a live casino, it's usually an entry to other games or to cash game poker, where you have a rake system, not a tournament fee system. So that's where the money is made, where the casinos are happy. So I think around 2014, I realized, okay, I need to do something else to really get to a bit bigger chunk of the money available. So I invented something called Cash Game Festival. And that was, you skip the poker tournament and you go straight to the beef, which is cash games. And I ran 32 different events around Europe, everything from Gibraltar to London, Dublin, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Slovakia, you name it, and of course Estonia. Estonia is my base. And that was very successful in the way that for a 5-day long event, we have 100, 500 different sizes of different event, of course, of people with a common interest. They want to play cash game poker. But at the same time, we had a problem with the operators, the online operators, because they didn't have the means to qualify players, because the networks are banning rake races, etc. So they were sadly qualifying players from tournaments. So you won an online tournament to come to my Cash Game Festival, and then you have then a tournament winner who comes to the stop in Bulgaria and asks, where do I buy into the tournament? And then I have to explain, this is cash game, you know. So it was a bit of a not matching. And then at the same time, poker, as we know in this industry, it's not the biggest chunk of the gambling wallet, so to say. So we didn't have any ways to attract sports betting or casino games. And then COVID came and we took a little pause in Cash Game Festival. And then I was sitting there in my dark room in Estonia, thinking and talking with friends. And then it hit me like a revelation. Why don't you do a week-long festival that really caters to all aspects of gambling? So let that be casino tournaments, let it be poker tournaments, let it be sports betting tournaments. So somehow in that process, I realized I should create an event that is live, where you can do roulette, you can do slots, you can do blackjack, tournament format, and then of course the cash game version of it. I know from my contact in the real world that I do have network and do have the capacity to do it, but I need a good media partner. And also I'm poor, I'm not a big financial asset myself. So I needed to find a house which actually sits on amazing traffic, amazing media, and a bit of a wallet. So that's when I reached out to you and said, let's do something together. And I think it took you 4 days, and you said, yeah, we do it. And
I think one of the beautiful aspects of this, and kind of a misconception with this, is, okay, yes, we kind of re-entered brick and mortar, because obviously poker listings, which is one of our biggest assets in Acroud, They also did Battle of Malta before. So it has a heritage of brick and mortar. But I think what people look at the festival and go like, why are you entering land-based again? But what they don't realize is it drives an incredible amount of online content creation, online discussions, all the satellite and qualifications are online. So it is literally a week-long event, but everything around it is just content creation and exposure and drives business. It's like, go to Red Bull. I mean, they're not an energy drink company. It's a brand. It's same like Nike. They are, they're building a brand and they are driving so much content. We talked about this yesterday about their skydiving team, for example. I mean, the reason Red Bull sponsors a skydiving team and have athletes to jump into an airplane,
crazy.
It's not to actually jump into the actual airplane, but all the media hype and brand building and traffic it drives around it, obviously. It's not the actual jump itself that creates that. And this is what we have with the festival, because we drive a tremendous amount of traffic, we create a lot of interesting content, both for the festival site, but poker listing sites. And obviously the beautiful thing with the festival is that it makes money by itself as well. Yeah. But of course the kind of hockey stick business effect comes online anyway. It's just good content production.
Correct. And I think that if you're able to take a situation where you have a lot of wins, so take the festival, it's not only that you go there and stay all the time in the casino. We provide side activities, if that's a go-kart championship, or if it's wine tasting or beer tasting or whatever it is. We have so many things outside the casino that makes for the end users, for the visitors, for the players, it's an experience package. Come with us to Tallinn or London or wherever it is and experience the city. And of course then from us, a crowd perspective, that means that we are generated own content from a very nice experience, which we do together with partner operators. So kind of, let's say, partner X to the festival, they send X amount of qualifiers to the roulette tournament, and then they have a week-long memory, fun, where they meet and greet, they network people outside their normal domain. They only play slots online. Now all of a sudden they play a roulette tournament and maybe a side game of poker. They meet new people, and they did that all because they qualified through operator X. So operators are winners. The person who won the package is a winner because he got an experience. Of course, Acroud is a winner from online and live perspective. The live casino is a winner because they all of a sudden have a new customer base that might come back to this casino. And then, of course, which is I think important, which I really like with you, it's all about networking. So maybe traditionally, if you're an affiliate, you think only your little domain, but we are quite different. We are collaborating with perceived competitors, if that's Poker News or Poker Receipt or another affiliate site. We are producing with them content for the operators. So I think we're onto something. So networking.
I know it. I know we are. And exactly that. I mean, if you want to jack it into the subject we're talking about, these events. So we had 621 players, you said, in Bratislava last time. I mean, obviously, this is a networking surface that is incredible. With often high net worth individuals, and it really, beyond the actual cash generated on that table that day, it's that I would say is a very small amount of the big value that's created over the long term with such events.
Correct.
Which is one of those like really interesting things. And when you came with the idea of expanding it beyond poker, so that it actually works for the industry as a whole. And I think that is one thing that we are and will keep struggling a little bit with, because it's still seen as a poker event, and in its core it is still a poker event, but we do need to keep hammering on about the fact that it is more than poker, and the sport, the competitive sports betting and roulette and all that, so that people understand that it's not a poker festival, it's actually a gaming festival.
It's a gaming festival. And when you say gaming festival, we have discussed it before. Of course, in the roadmap, we have talked esports. we have talked the different gaming providers in that segment too. So the festival is here. We just launched it. It's like 5 months ago or 6 months ago. We had our first event. We plan to do 2 events this year, and hopefully 4 next year at different locations in Europe to start with. But I think we sit on a beast that everyone should embrace in this industry.
Yeah,
and also players.
I mean,
common man.
Yeah, it's, beer is flowing. Obviously, it's your event. But also for networking, I think the opportunities are endless. Operators should also attend for their own networking purposes, etc. There is so many things you can do with this, and I'm really excited about where we are taking it. Don't expect me to show up though, but
in the sports betting competition you're in.
Oh, I'm sports is one of my absolute go-to things. Really. Yeah. I've tattooed you, Gordon, all over my arm.
Don't even go there. I know you in your heart support AIK.
I don't care.
Yes, he supports AIK. No, but I think it's a fun event, and if you watch this episode, or episode 1 actually,
it will be. I mean, now it's live streamed.
Oof, that's crazy. My hair has to be fixed. It's good.
Yeah.
Super good. So if you watch this, I mean, try it out, the festival.
Yeah. Now you got to plug your thing a little bit as well.
Like that.
Yeah, of course. So let's bring it back to a little bit about you. I'm starting to understand a little bit of who you are a bit, but give us a little bit more flavor about Franke. What do you do when you don't network and drink beers? Like, I know that you go to the gym a lot.
Yeah, so I drink wine.
When you don't drink beer.
Yeah. No, what do I do? Now, I am workaholic. I think that's true, and I think then I took a conscious choice. I did a startup with Martin Trang, a very good friend, in 2007, and our aim then was to be financially very, very strong. Like, we would make a lot of money, and that was like the main driver for that startup. And it went good for a while, but then it went south with the economic crisis and maybe bad management, who knows. So we lost a lot of money, and I think the lesson learned there, after still fighting with that company, trying to make it fly for 5 years and quite exhausted with it, I took a conscious decision that I will never work with something I don't want to work with or believe is fun, kind of. So if you're a workaholic like I am, I say no to jobs or opportunities that I don't believe I will enjoy. So when I say I'm workaholic, I'm just living life. My job is to play poker and lose money, to network, to get people to my events. My job is to create slow ball, like if you remember Gumball 3000.
I know slow ball, but please explain.
So Gumball 3000 is again like high network individuals networking with the love of cars, and they travel around the world somehow, coast to coast, US or across Europe. And it's really cool, like for 5 days, or is it 4 days, they come together and they really network. They enjoy this road trip. And as you know, I understand, I don't have money, I'm poor, so I can't do that. I can't create an event with luxury cars, but I can do it with crappy cars. So I created Slowball. And Slowball is then, I buy Lada, Saab 99 or old Volvos, whatever it is, yeah? Really bad cars that I've seen its life and its end of life, like it should be recycled to something else. But I buy those cars and then I identify up and coming or established artists and give them free hands. Here's a car, make it into art. Then I pay the cost for that art creation process. And then I invite friends or friends to join me on an art exhibition over 5 days in different cities in Europe, where we drive these cars, and you can't speed with them. There is no security issues because they go so slow. And of course, tea drinking or beer drinking is an essential part of networking, so we have fun on the ride. One golden rule we have is zero tolerance alcohol of the driver. So I even employ a guy in this 20 car caravan who only job is to do alco check on the driver, morning, lunch, and at arrival at next hotel. And this whole exercise, I think I've lost money every time I've done it. As a company, it's bleeding. But it's still my best company because I'm so passionate about it. The fact that you drive an artsy Lada and kids are dragging their mom and say, Mom, 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 look at this car. You know, these are things that makes you happy. You love your job. And then of course people see this, and again, who is this crazy guy that does that? Then I do some other business with these people, maybe in construction industry or whatever industry it is. So
I mean, I know you have, as you said, like you have a lot of different companies, and I know you have Slowball, you have a construction company doing like construction in the Netherlands,
around Europe actually.
Around Europe.
Mezzanine floors.
Then you have the video production company, and
Paddle.
Yeah, you have your paddle company. That you set this up, and I think what's really, again, it falls back on your network, because you don't run these companies.
No.
You set them up, you make sure you have the right people in them, and then you kind of guide it. And to be fair, I think with me, it's the first time you ever accepted an employment and have a boss in a very, very long time.
Yeah, but you fooled me there, if we are honest also. Like, we agreed that we will do the festival together, and then I will help you for 3 months with one certain project.
Yes, but that's not how it works.
Yeah, so then I worked with you for 3 months, and then you said, maybe we do it a bit longer. And then I said yes, and I think we agreed like, okay, I'll stay a year. And then I think 2 months in, you say, Franke, how about 4 years or whatever we agreed to? I think it was
3 years, yeah, I think
years.
It's 3
years.
But
with now. That 6 months.
Yeah.
So yes, you are quite good at playing your cards and hooking me up, and I really enjoy this ride. It's, I mean, historically, every company has ups and downs, and I think Acroud, or the earlier names, etc., was a very, very big company in this area, and I think your vision of where we are going, I share it, and I think we are getting there. So I'm proud to be a part of this ride.
Oh, you're so...
No, but I am. No, I am.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I really, really do enjoy that that you actually are here. I mean, and for those who don't understand this yet, me and Franke, we have known each other, as I said, a very long time. But when he's here on the island, he also, or like you like to say it, we share an apartment. I say you live in my apartment when you're here.
It's my apartment.
It's not.
He's staying there.
And in all fairness, it's like I don't go into your room because that's a disaster, but at least you know to keep the rest of the apartment in check.
Yeah, but it's not that dirty. Okay, it's disastrous. I agree.
If you have snooze, it is, because the fucking snooze is lying everywhere.
Yeah, but because you haven't put in a garbage bin.
That's my fault.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
Like, it's your house.
Now it's my house.
Yeah, if it comes to cleaning, yes.
Yes.
But it's and kind of what I like with joining this ride is like how you use resources, and I am a networker, yeah. So kind of we discussed quite early that we are not that strong in sports betting yet. So then of course I was thinking about my network, and approached and talked with you. How about we onboard Gambling Cabin? And I mean, you said yes, and they are now a part of.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the reasons is that I was so keen on having you on board is because of that. And you know, instead of paying a tremendous amount of money to an M&A firm, I utilized having employed you to find the good target, and it was admittedly really through you that we managed to do the Gambling Cabin acquisitions. You brought that to the table. Bengan, who we all know, and you know him really well, and you kind of persuaded him how good of an idea this could be. I don't think he didn't really have the necessity to sell. The company was never for sale. So if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to acquire them. And I think this is turning out to be a really brilliant acquisition that we did. Strategically, they fit us really well. Again, they also slot right into kind of the synergies with the festival and the poker, and also the content production, the live streaming, and all of that. So again, that's just a proof of networking. And in all fairness, even the acquisition that we did of P&G Group, the matching visions and Vonix and all of that, that's also down based to actually, in that case, my network. And that transaction started with me sending a Facebook message to Dennis. And that's how that came about.
Exactly.
I wanted to say if it was up for that. And the acquisition of Roy Media, which we did before, that's also a network. So we have, again, instead of paying percentages to large firms, this brings a really big, if you just count the money saved on that, it's a big chunk of cash, basically.
Correct.
Again, showing the value of having a strong network and maintaining that as well.
Yeah, and maintaining is another key aspect. So kind of, if you want to stay on top of the game, you need to spend that time to maintain your network. If that is for the love of your football club, or at the poker table, or traveling to fairs, or whatever it is. Maintaining is a key part. So then when it comes to choosing your job, if you're a workaholic like me, then only do it in industries that you enjoy. And I truly enjoy the gaming industry, and so do you. I think you enjoy a lot of other industries too, like me. Like your success at EA Games, fantastic. We both are a bit computer nerds. We were at Nokia.
Yeah.
It was a good ride.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But you also do spend more energy than anyone I've known maintaining your network, because the amount of travel you do, the amount of I would be so exhausted. But again, that's why I hired you.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the energy to do what you're doing.
Is this the moment to discuss salary raise?
No. But
Let's discuss it.
No, well, maybe if the festival does really good, we can open up for at least inflation compensation.
Thank you, sir. No, but then you're funny. You're a very direct manager. I like it. You let people hoover around whatever they do, and then you step in and say, Franke, I think that's wrong direction. Do this, and then you give a good argument about why. And then sometimes we discuss it. Sometimes I don't agree, and then you agree with me, and we continue in a path. Or sometimes I really agree, and I go on your path. I like that. But also I like the fact how you just delegate. So now we launched TGC in Holland. I think you came to me in October. What is that? 5 months ago? So we have just done our first festival. I can finally relax a bit. And then you said, you were the driver of this acquisition. Now you have to launch it to a new country.
It's launched.
And it's launched.
So credit to me.
Exactly. 100% to you.
Well,
but
I just handed it to a doer. So it's perfect. Now it's up and running as well. So
it's up and running, and it's very exciting. That market is tremendous. I think it's 13, 14 operators now, and there will be more coming aboard. And of course, it's in a sense a new market, so there's a lot of work. And there we have a cool team. Again, friends from poker are now working with us in that market.
Good.
Build your networks.
I think it's time to round this off a little bit. Mm-hmm. So, do you have any final messages to our huge audience? Who knows? Maybe we have 4 or 5 people watching this the first time around. I have, before you get to say some final comment. So, hopefully, this is one of many shows to come where we will touch on different aspects. Could be anything, corporate branding, keeping employees happy, or strategic, thinking and how to work strategy-wise. We will touch on as many subjects as possible and bring people in from other industries or within the gaming industry as ours. So we will hopefully see quite a wide variety of topics in this show, but it will all be related to people and business in the very end, right?
Yeah.
So do subscribe to this if you want to see more fun shows like this. And with that, I'm gonna let our guest round us off this episode.
Oh, thank you. No, but I don't know if this was a fun show, but at least I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, as usual, talking with you. B, yes, organized. I think my Rolodex, or this book of contacts, is quite big, and I maintain it. Of course, today maybe it's one of the biggest Excel files I have. So yes, I use Excel to be organized. And then we are all workaholics. Like, do the things you want to do. Like, don't just work for a salary. Like, work for a salary that you enjoy working for. If that is playing paddle, then set up a paddle company.
Exactly. If you already had all the money you needed, would you still do it? And you should be able to answer that question, yes.
Exactly. I think this is vital. And then try to be honest to yourself and to others. Like, if you say something, try to keep that word.
Good. And on that note, thank you very much, and see you at the next show.
Ciao.